once we all see them and
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that they're
after.
happy, I think.
Yeah, okay, great. I figured everyone would have done that, I just wanted to ask if everybody was. Oh my gosh.
Did you have enough? Yes? Did you have enough?
Yes.
Yes, and there's a few extra, thank you.
This plan, I can't find it. All that stuff they put on the floor, it looks like, I'm sure, epoxy, maybe under stones and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of that, and I understand it's very expensive. Yeah, that, mine too, I'd have to empty it.
I'm gonna bang it anyway. All right, I'm gonna say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess, you know it.
Yeah, I do. I get ads all the time.
All right, so I still have a little bit of a, lost my voice, so if I need to, y'all let me know. Since we're not an official board, we don't really have a roll call, but I do want to go through and introduce the members up here. So over here is Kathy Coppins. This is Rachel, our secretary, Rachel Ewing. I'm the chair, Michaela Bogey. Vice chair is Travis Horky. He's also our planning commission liaison. Tim Miles is our board liaison, and Jay Hunter at the very end over there. So do I have a motion to adopt or revise the agenda as it is presented?
I make a motion to adopt the agenda as it is.
We need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. We're new. So do I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes held on May 5th and waive the reading of such? And just so everyone knows, our minutes will be available on the website once we get them all sent over to Carla.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting on May 5th and waive the reading.
And I'll second that.
Okay, so a quick disclaimer here. We are, oh, we have to vote.
To approve it.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second.
I don't think we,
No, wait.
we vote.
I don't know if we have to do any of this, but it seems like if you take motions and seconds, then we vote, but.
Okay.
I don't know if
All
we
in
have to
favor?
do that, but-
Aye.
Okay, all opposed. We're getting the hang of it, just by watching and learning. All right, so we are purely an advisory ad hoc committee. We have no voting power and cannot create master plans or ordinances. We can only provide suggestions and organize citizen input in to the planning commission, and even then, the planning commission is not required to do as we suggest. However, I am very hopeful with the new planning commission members and the new members on the board that getting this information in a more organized fashion will be helpful. So, that being said, we have public comment. You can talk about your master plan suggestions. Hand them in after you're done, hand them in at the very end, whenever you want to. But we're gonna do 5 minutes on public comment. But please include your name and your address on your paper that you handle. So, and no public comment.
This is on the data center, right, the ordinance?
We're on the master plan tonight, but feel free if you wanna talk about the things.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, I got a
I'll still
copy,
write it down. Feel
I
free
just
to-
had a copy of the ordinance, and I just went through a couple of things that I had concern with.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people don't really understand, exactly what's behind, the land over there, where the data center is. Well, I'll go through the list, just a couple of things, I got 5 minutes, right?
Yep.
On section 5, on the ordinance, section 5, truck into traffic, there's nothing we can do nothing we can do about MDOT, but I think there's something that we can probably do with, the vehicles coming in and out. When the construction starts, cause I live right off Ann Arbor Road, I think traffic should be coming off Cone Road. If it has anything to do with that type of construction on the data center, if it does pass. We see what happened with the closing of Ann Arbor Road recently by the school.
Right.
And it's like, that's chaos. I couldn't imagine what's gonna happen when the data center comes in. Also on section 5, dust and erosion control. You know what? We'll skip that one for now. Section 5, 8, the noise and vibration, the well impact. When Cabela's came in, they pumped water from the ground, and people's well, mine, my neighbors, and people on Wells Road, wells dried up. And I think in the ordinance it says they would only test a 1/4 mile radius. Well, the wells dried up, you know, more than a 1/4 mile. So I don't think I think something should be said more than a 1/4 mile, 1/2 mile, 1 mile, you know, because we got hit with it, and that was not cool at all when they did that. So we had to live with that for quite a while, you know. But a 1/4 mile is minimum. And then section 11. Section 11. The conclusion. I got a couple things down here like we have no idea what you're going to do with the CO2. Are they going to put it in the ground? And there's a quarry back there in the back of the property. There's a quarry. Like 20 years ago, I used to fish. 25 years ago, I used to fish back there. You know, and a lot of wildlife, a lot of fish. But that's in back of the property that they're getting ready to purchase. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but I don't know if they're planning on tapping into that quarry and taking water out. But there's also a pump on the Macon Creek that connects that quarry to the Macon Creek. So I don't know if they put water, I think they used to take water out of the quarry, pump it into the Macon, or they used to take the Macon water and pump it into the quarry. But they're transferring water there, so, and I don't know if people know that or not, but we should be aware of that. You know, if they tap into that quarry, they can take water out of the Macon Creek, so, to adjust the levels, you know, so. I'll go ahead and submit this,
Okay.
at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question? How far were you from Cabela's?
For about a mile.
About a mile?
About a mile from
And
the
how
village.
deep was your well?
My neighbors, which was at the time was Chris Raff, and his well, I think he was over 100, and I think mine was at 90.
Okay.
It was shallow on my end because it was in.
And you have water now?
Well, I had to go down to the, I had to put 2 septic tanks in the ground and
haul water.
pipe them in for years. And what had happened is we went down to the village and asked for water, and we got denied. And we found out that there was, when the cement company came in, anybody alongside US 20, or Ann Arbor Road, was able to tap in to the main line. That was, we didn't know that at the time. And no one told us until we found out, from the street, somebody, actually what happened is somebody sent us a letter, anonymous.
Mhm.
So, which was really cool. So, and then we ended up getting city water after that. But the fight for like 8 years
Right.
to get water was unbelievable, and the answer was there all along. So, and that's how cement company, when they came in, they were concerned about the residents. You know, I look at that as a plus, you know, when they did move in, you know. I mean, they did a lot of pollution and stuff, I mean, but at that time, it saved a lot of people, you know, give people water, the residents and the water. There was another concern that I had, oh, were you done? I'm sorry.
I was wondering how deep the water was in the quarry,
Oh, I don't know about the quarry.
but deep enough to have fish.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They had a big casting in the ground, it was pumping it up pretty
They
good.
have it dammed up too. They
And
have a
they
dam
have-
in there.
Jerry,
Thank
what version of the ordinance are you working on for the bid? Is that the one that the planning commission made, or the one that I made, or the one that?
Dundee Township zoning ordinance,
Is there a date at the bottom? December?
at the back,
On the front page.
no, there's no
Okay.
date on it. But I think all the definitions of sections probably should be the same, right?
Probably, it's just, the one that the planning commission submitted to us as an original draft was dead on arrival.
Okay, I don't know where I got this on the internet.
Okay, that's probably.
Did you get it off our website?
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the draft policy proposal, is it? Does it say draft?
Yeah, board policy draft.
Oh, okay, that's the one I wrote.
Okay.
I didn't know I put a quarter mile, otherwise I would've changed it, so thank you.
I just, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's important.
It is very important.
And, there was something else I had in here, I was really, wanted to speak about too. You know, and if the data center is built, you know, the residents within that area are gonna suffer. Traffic wise, property value wise, and the noise. Plus other things that we can't foresee right now. Carbon monoxide, for example, for the generators, when they test them every month, because they have to test them every month. And they probably gotta run them for like 9 to 12 hours, because that's what the cellular towers, you know, cellular towers with generators, they run them, once a month for 9 to 12 hours. So I can imagine what these guys are gonna do. And I live next to a tower and I can smell diesel fuel, you know, at my place, but, you know, that's a concern also. But anyways, if it does pass, I was wondering if the township and the village would consider it tax exempt or a tax reduction on the property taxes on the residents close to the data center. Because like I said, the cement company, when they came in, they gave, you know, to the residents. I was one of the ones that benefited from that. So, but, yeah.
Okay.
I think my 5 minutes is up.
I didn't catch your name.
Oh, Jerry Smith. Ted's my uncle. I think you know Ted, right? Ted? No?
I know where he did it. Is
I
that
know
the
what
one?
it says.
Yeah. Do I need to sign in or anything, or?
You just write when you hand in your paper, just write your name and address on
Okay.
it and we'll.
Alright, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
I just got a brief statement here, Ed Reese. What happens if the data center goes in and then Edison says, well, we're gonna put all our power to the data center and Dundee gets no power? What's gonna happen?
That's a good point.
Food for thought.
All right, anyone else?
I don't have a written statement for afterwards, but
Okay.
I guess just as far as, you know, a general master plan issue, not necessarily data center, I would definitely not like to see what has gone on for the last 30 years as far as rezoning property arbitrarily, annexing property into the village without a specific use. I mean, the whole west side of town has basically turned into land speculation. You know, property changing hands. One piece of property was supposed to be a golf course. It's been sold multiple times. I think it's probably tripled in value. We see lots out there now for $1.2 million for 1 acre. And property in the township is completely unaffordable for most people that live here. I mean, you have to be somewhat wealthy to, own property in the small township or village of Dundee. We're completely strangling ourselves to death, you know, no 25-year-old's gonna start a business with, things set up for about 6 people to become wealthy. So, and also some emphasis on the township being, basically agricultural. We've seen that also over the last 25 years or so, where there's restrictions on, if you wanna put up a building, they're gonna ask, is there an animal going in it? And then all of a sudden there's these major offsets, and you live in an area that's agricultural. I've never once seen someone move to the city, to a subdivision, and have the homeowners association say, oh my gosh, someone just moved here from the country. We need to make sure that they feel comfortable and accommodated. They wanna have a cow in their garage, and I think we need to accommodate that. I've never seen anything like that happen in my life, yet when people move from the city, the first thing they say is, I don't like the smell of those animals, or Travis Forkey is out in the field at 10 o'clock at night, and we need to put a stop to this. You know, there's all these ridiculous demands, and maybe it should be like in some type of preamble for our master plan, that this is agricultural, and, you know, it should remain as such, and the rules should reflect that. There should be no, you know, restrictions on things like that for the intended use, you know. So,
Are you suggesting regulations be set out as to the limits of what homeowners associations can and cannot?
no, it was like mocking the idea that people from the city move out to the country and tell us how to
I
live.
get that, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering what the solution is.
What the solution would be is to tell them, you left the subdivision, you live in a rural agricultural zone now, someone might have a goat in their barn. And if that offends you, maybe this is not where you should live. And Travis Horky can be out in his field all night long, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Farmers do that.
Yes, yes.
Especially planting and harvest time.
So there's been some pretty ridiculous responses to those types of things. I mean, 99.99% of the township is private property. All the board is supposed to be managing is the fire department, the library, some light infrastructure on our dirt roads, and maybe talking with the drain commission and things like that. No one really needs help managing their private property. So as well, some of the restrictions on definitely not retail at home, but some of a farm is a home-based business. Somebody else wants to have some type of light, non-commercial home-based business. Restrictions on that to me seem a little ridiculous. For about 200 years in America, people bought property to earn a living on it. And then others decided, we don't like that, you know, or say it's dangerous. Like most of our industry, Haggerty Brothers Automotive was started in their parents' garage. They were making wire looms. And guess what those people love to do? They love to pull the ladder up after they've succeeded and tell everyone else, no, home-based businesses are dangerous, they're bad, we can't have that, you know. I mean, there's people that work on cars out in pole barns in the country, and no one knows they do it for 10 or 15 years, and all of a sudden somebody finds out, and oh my gosh, this is a terrible thing, and no one even knew what was going on. And they're not offended until they find out something they didn't know was going on is happening. So I guess maybe in the preamble also is ushering in a new era of minding our own business in the township. But I got all in writing. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any master plan suggestions?
Oh, and not worrying about if someone's running a portable pool on an extension cord will also be very important in the township.
Very specific. Anyone else have any master plan comments, suggestions, concerns?
Will tonight be the only night we can do that?
For the master plan specifically, yes. I mean, however, there's planning commission meetings every month, and they're supposed to be working through the master plan section by section. So although we're gonna take what we have here tonight and hand it to them in a more organized fashion, you're always welcome to come to planning commission meetings and have public comment on the specific sections that they're working through when they do it. So the next planning commission meeting will be on May 20th, and I believe they're going through the first and second sections of the master plan.
That was our plan at the last.
Okay.
We left the
That
last
was
meeting,
the
that was our
plan.
plan, I don't know if we've,
So, the master plan is on the, website. If you wanna look at the first and second sections before the 20th and bring back those specific concerns more broken down, that too, we just wanted to have, our ad hoc committee has two charges. One, to assist with the master plan, two, to assist with the data center ordinance. So our first one had to be the master plan. So we're getting that all for the planning commission before they start going through section by section, so they have our concerns in hand, they can look at them, refer to them when they need to. And then that way we can move on and start working on data center ordinance, and of course, we'll have another public meeting, kind of same setting, just speaking about data center ordinance.
Plus-
So,
Anybody can email the township anytime they want with a correspondence. It goes into Carla, she'll get a copy to me, and it'll wind up here, so there's plenty of avenues to communicate your concerns. We just want concerns, but we also want suggestions as far as, because identifying a problem is only half of it, and identifying the solution is the other, but there's always a way you can send, and you guys sent one in, and I actually read it here, so I can remember that happening.
Might want more.
Huh?
I
Well,
said we might want more.
and that's the nice thing about email, it doesn't cost anything to send, and it's unlimited in its capacity, so just help yourself.
yes, and public comment at board meetings, and public comment at planning commission meetings. And I suggest to, I don't do it because I just don't, but if you do make a public comment at a board meeting or a planning commission meeting, bring it in writing too, and that way there's something in front of them when they're looking to, oh, someone did have a comment about that, I wonder where it's at, what it
You
is.
know, I guess Travis is on the planning commission, but are you starting with like residential and agricultural? Are you like breaking down the map basically where you're starting from the beginning? Like as far as you go, basically the township is agricultural and you start breaking it down into its sections and you go through and, you know, you say, we're allowing this much to be, you know, like how you have to have 5 acres in some areas to have residential, or is it being broken down to that degree? Like the first meeting, is that what it's going to basically be about? I mean,
well, we're at the beginning,
at the beginning,
Our last meeting was when I became a planning commission member, so I'm trying to get my head around all this.
okay.
So
I was just curious, I mean, because it seems like basically everything is, you know, if you're starting from a blank slate, everything, obviously some things have to stay zoned the way they are because of legal issues, you can't take away someone's property, you know, if they paid money for, but basically the township starts as agricultural and then you break it down in residential. I was just curious, as far as giving suggestions for the first planning commission meeting would go, is that what you would assume it's gonna start out as?
I don't have any assumptions.
Okay.
We're really, from my point of view, we're really at the beginning and trying to get our head around how this process works, even
Oh,
to then identify what the first step is,
My,
or the first next step.
my assumption when they said section by section, looking at the master plan, there's like an introduction when you read it and go through it. And then there's goal 1, which would be community character. There's goal 2, which would be land use. So in my mind, that's what I thought of section by section.
okay.
So when you read it through, I
Like
don't
the
know.
intent for the township,
Yeah,
probably not my opinion of it, but like
And-
something similar to that.
and this is on, it's 66 pages, but it's on the website. And that's kind of what I had planned without asking them what specifically they're going to do. I just refreshed myself on goal 1 and goal 2. And I'm going to bring my concerns to the planning commission meeting if that's what they're doing. If not, I'll know when I get there.
Oh, okay.
What they're
Yeah, because
doing.
I was thinking if I'm gonna get suggestions for that, or if it's being done that way, would the ordinances for the land use specifically be put in place as the master plan is figured out, or would those be done at the end, or?
Yeah, I can't tell you that, but that's just my assumption on how they're working through section by section, would be section of the master plan that's currently there. That's what I thought and had in mind, so that's what I'm gonna come prepared with, but if that's not the case, then I'll wing it, I don't know. Does anyone else have any Master plans, questions, concerns, suggestions?
I had a question for Travis, I don't know if you, I was curious, there was some talk originally about whether the existing master plan should be revised, or should it be just set aside and a new framework put together. Do you know which direction you guys are going in?
No, we don't know that yet. See, if time wasn't a factor, we would just
Right.
do the master plan and then,
Yep.
because that's the foundation, right? But also we got our eye on this data center business and battery storage business, and so there's a,
Time is of the essence.
time is a factor. So I don't know if a total redo of the master plan is practical to get those other things in order before it's a problem.
Maybe just a gloss over of the basics of it, and
We're trying to figure all that out. I don't know if somebody has those answers, but I don't yet.
Okay, thanks.
I guess there's one thing I would like to throw in too, and that is, based upon Monroe County's review of the existing suggested master plan, what it said overall, more than anything else as I read it, is that everything that they did is based upon faulty demographic projections. So what that tells me is, we don't know how much Dundee is anticipated to grow in the next 10 or 20 years. So it seemed to me, before we do a master plan, we gotta have a real good idea of what this township is going to need in the way of residences, in the way of businesses and things like that. And that comes from an accurate demographic projection of what kind of growth we're gonna have.
I guess the other thing too is we have plenty of areas like Augusta Township fought off a data center, you know, up north there, north of Cadillac, they fought off a Chinese battery plant, and that was a done deal, the property. And when this first started, I actually called those places and talked to them and made friends with some of those people and got a lot of information from the people that were successful at this already. You know, so there is that tool also. I mean, Ida, Summerfield, and Maybe have never grown. And, you know, I don't know how they've managed that, and, you know, they haven't withered into non-existence by not growing, but that's also another suggestion, maybe slow our growth down because we're not very good at controlling it. You know, we've done a terrible job here in Dundee. It's almost as if we've been exploited. Well, we definitely have.
Do you have access to the census information?
The census is historical. We need somebody to give us projections, like, is Dundee, right now, there's like 8,000 people in the village, I think, and a couple thousand more in the township. So in 10 years, is this gonna be, are we gonna be at 20,000? Are we gonna be at 15,000? Are we gonna be at 50,000? I don't know. I know the town I grew up in was 27,000 when I was in high school, and it's over 200,000 now. So things change, and Dundee's gonna grow. I don't think it's like Ida or Maybe, where there's no reason maybe for it to grow, but we're growing and we're gonna keep growing.
Well,
We just gotta figure out how much, figure out the need, and then we can plan to accommodate it. But if we don't know the need,
Well, what Ida has done is actually, when developers come in, they tell them, you can pay for the water and sewage improvements, and the developer generally says, we wouldn't make any money, and the township board shrugs their shoulders.
Well,
and
there's
says,
another level that's more dynamic, is that Dundee Village and Dundee Township. Ida is just Ida Township.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, where it is, that is sought after real estate. People from Toledo want to build houses there badly.
yeah,
You know, people from Monroe do too, and they've been pretty good at keeping it what it is. I mean, we've seen one major change there, the grocery store changed to a Dollar General, and that's about all the change I've noticed there.
Got a new grape in the co-op.
Oh, yeah, they did, you're right. I watched that go up, actually. But, okay.
Okay, anyone else have any comments about the master plan? Okay, so, as I said, the next, planning commission meeting will be May 20th. And then, like I said, although we've gathered the suggestions tonight, concerned citizens attend the planning commission meetings as they work through the planning commission, or the master plan. And then, does anyone on the committee have any additional comments to add?
and I moved to adjourn.
well, I'm gonna make a motion to pass these suggestions along to the planning commission for consideration.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we can,
Now I move to adjourn.
okay.
Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you. Thank you for your-
Anytime
Yeah.
you can try to get some consultation, it's a guess. Well, it's still a guess.
For sure, I agree.